Hello, Red Wave. Yes, that is correct. We are back. This is Where Bulldogs Podcast. My name's Caleb Nail. That's Caleb Pletz. We talk Fresno State sports, specifically football this time of year. I apologize. I have been absent from social media, podcasting, everything the past week and a half. We actually had a death in the family. And we have family from out of town, and I went on a little vacay with the wife. So, I haven't been around. So thank you for holding it down, Caleb. And I apologize to you, Red Wave, for the absence. But we are back. We're going to preview the Lobos game, and then we'll go from there. Caleb, how are you, my friend? It's been a while.
It has been a while. Good overall. Enjoying football season. Weather's changing a little bit. We got a little rain today, so it definitely feels like it's football season now. Something about a 100-degree football game just doesn't feel quite like football season. So now that we are, creeping down to the 80s and even 70s now, it does feel more like football. But other than that, doing well and ready to preview this first conference test of the season for the Dogs.
Let's do it. Don't worry, we did not forget. There is some dancing that is to be owed to the Red Wave. We did not forget. That will happen soon, before the end of the season. I can tell you that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we know? New Mexico, 0-3. They are listed. ESPN put out an article. They're part of the bottom 10 in the country. 0-3. They started off home against Montana State, and they lost that game. They blew a big lead, actually. I believe a 17-point lead. Lost 35-31. Got blown out at Arizona, and then got blown out at Auburn. And now they get us at home. And I believe the Auburn game, that was the game their true freshman quarterback came in and played and got the win. So the Hank Brown, and he threw for over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns in his first career start on New Mexico. Kind of shocking what we were talking beforehand, Caleb, and you said it's kind of shocking to see these high scores, 35 to Montana State, 61, 45, because Mendenhall is a defensive guy. So you'd think defense, well, it really hasn't been the case. They got a lot of work to do. Anyway, what are your thoughts, Caleb, on this New Mexico team after 3 games that you've seen?
Well, definitely been tough sledding so far for them. The athletic director scheduling all these games way in advance. Just kind of catching up to bite them here with the new coach and the whole new team. So, obviously it's a tough road ahead. It doesn't get a whole lot easier. I guess next week they take on New Mexico State, so that should be a little bit easier for them. But definitely a winnable game for Fresno State. I think that, like you mentioned, New Mexico's defense is not good and uncharacteristic for a Bronco Mendenhall team, but he's building from the bottom up, and I'm sure that in years 2, 3, 4, this Lobo team is going to be much more competitive. But they are still pesky, and they have a really dangerous quarterback that can make things happen with his legs, and is also a competent thrower, which I think is, a big change from the quarterback that Fresno State faced last week with New Mexico State Aggies, who throwing game was basically non-existent for the Aggies, which really allowed Fresno State defense to key in on the run and go all out, make them beat us with throwing, and they were just not capable of doing. So definitely more dimensions to the New Mexico Lobos offense this week. So should be more of a challenge. I'd be surprised if Fresno State was able to shut out this team. I think that they'll get a couple scores on them.
Yeah, I like their quarterback, Devin Damp. I don't know if this is French or if it's Dampier or Dampier. But Devin, Eli Sanders is a running back. I like him. He's shown spurts where he could play. And then Wysong is their leading receiver. Like you said, they have threats on that offensive side of the ball, so we got to be ready. But I really like this Fresno State team. And we didn't recap the dominant performance they had against New Mexico State, and I really liked what I saw, man. I was happy.
Totally. Yeah. It was definitely the get right game. We know we could have played a lot better against FCS opponent previously, and they brought the pressure, and I think all facets of the game played extremely well. And we saw a lot of new faces in that game too. So interesting to see how that develops too. And hopefully we get another big game here where we see a Bryson Donaldson at running back who got 12 carries last game and looked really good. Running back of the future, question mark? I think so. And also saw action from both quarterbacks that are backing up Mikey. Joshua Wood looking really good running the ball, and Jaden Mandel looked competent with running with the 2s or 3s. So, I mean, quarterbacks of the future, yeah, I think so too. So definitely have some upside there, but we don't want to look too far in the future. So, I mean, what are our keys this week for Fresno State going up against New Mexico?
Keys this week, brought to us by ManageX. That is always going to be the case this year. You need, if you have any property that you need help managing, head over to managex.net. Get in contact with them. They will help you. Great people over there. Managex.net. They're going to help you manage your property. Keys to the game today, or for Saturday, I think is be consistent. You have to stay consistent. I heard Skip, and you may have as well. He talked about Sacramento State game not being consistent. Got to put 4 quarters together. Then he said we did that against New Mexico State. We have to continue. We got to build off of this. I think really, if I'm going to pick one, we have to be disciplined defensively. Keep the quarterback in front of us. I want him to beat us through the air. If he's going to beat us, force him to beat us through the air. Keep Devin in the pocket. And I honestly, I think we just have the better athletes in the trenches. It's going to be hard for him to make quick decisions, throw an accurate ball. I do think that they're going to scheme up a lot of quarterback scrambles, and he'll make things happen as well outside of just the play call. So I want to contain him. That's key number one that I think we need. That it's going to be starting in the trenches with our defensive line.
Right, and building on that, I did think this past game we saw a glimpse of what Corey Foreman could maybe be in peak form. He was creating some havoc in the backfield. I know he had, I think, 1 sack, might have forced a fumble. I don't have the stats in front of me, but if we have a repeat performance like that, where the defensive line, like you said, are getting constant pressure on the quarterback, Dampier. And he's thrown some picks this year. I think his numbers are similar to Keene so far. I think he's got 5 touchdowns and 4 picks. So definitely, is in the running for making something happen negatively for his offense. So I agree with you there. Big key for the defensive line to keep creating that pressure. I'm looking on the offensive side of the ball, and we haven't been as crisp with taking care of the ball. This past game, Mikey didn't throw any picks, which was great. Had 2 in each of the first 2 games, but the Dogs also did have a fumble, which turned into a huge explosive play early in the game. So I'd really like to see no turnovers and just control the ball, control the field position. I think that this New Mexico team is going to lose the game on their own, and Fresno State doesn't need to do anything to help them. So obviously they're still going to, play aggressive. I think Coach McCann is, he's improving every week. I think in terms of understanding play, the team personnel, play calling. I think he's really improving.
That was going to be my next point that I brought to bring up was McCann. I thought was the biggest improvement over these 3 games. He showed the biggest improvement. There was a series, and you'll remember this. All of you will remember this, where we started slow. I take that back. We started very fast against New Mexico State, but then it got pretty boring. The drive where we woke up, we ran the ball every play. McCann called a run play every single time. And we've talked about it, Caleb. The Red Wave on X has talked about it. Run the ball. Everybody wants to see us run the ball. Well, we showed our dominance that drive, and McCann stuck to it, which I was very proud of him for doing that. That was kind of the point one, in that game, I thought that shifted momentum totally to us. And then two, I think kind of looking forward to the season, like, okay, I trust McCann to do the right thing. He knows what is going to get our guys fired up and what they need to be successful. And our boys executed well. That drive is really going to stand out to me when I look back on the season. It's here's kind of where things changed. That drive, in my opinion, I was really excited to watch that, but you know me, I'm old school. Run the dang ball.
That's right. Yeah, I think McCann made an interesting comment in this week's press conference too, because I think the question was reflecting on last year's loss to New Mexico, which was devastating to say. But that was a game where Logan Fife was in the game for banged up Mikey Keene, and McCann made a comment, something along the lines of, I didn't call the right game for the personnel that was on the field. So all these steps and losses, they're all building and teaching moments for him, in his career as a play caller. So we definitely have seen that progression there, and now he has a fully healthy Mikey Keene and a really healthy support staff for him, save the offensive line, which we'll talk about here soon, I'm sure. But the skill guys healthy, quarterback healthy, so all the weapons are available.
Mm-hmm. All right, Caleb, let's talk about what's going to make us nervous and sweat this weekend.
As an expert on sweat and sweating, I may as well be a sweat scientist.
Anything that the Bulldogs may do, that the Lobos may do, that make you a little bit nervous for this upcoming game?
I don't know if it's necessarily an action, but Fresno State offensive line is banged up. We saw starting center Mose Vavao leave the New Mexico State game early. He was on the sideline and had some ice on his knee. Supposedly this week he's got a bulky brace on. So I don't know how optimistic we can be about him being back. So he's the captain and the anchor of that offensive line. So having another injury makes me question. I think that Campbell McCarg, the right guard, was trending toward coming back this week. So I guess that's definitely a positive if we can get another guy back. But if the New Mexico defense is able to have their way with the Fresno State offensive line, it's definitely going to make me sweat, because I mean, we say this every week, but just how important the offensive line is to establish balance for the offense, being able to run the ball, protect Mikey so that way he can make a play and hit another bomb to Mac. I mean, that's been an explosive part of the offense, is hitting Mac Delana on the deep ball. So, and that all comes down to the offensive line. So hopefully Vavao is back, but if he's out and we're dealing with reserve center and shuffling the pieces, that's a big question mark, and definitely could make me sweat.
Yep. That's the same for me. And we brought up the quarterback, Dampier. I'm really not too worried, to be honest. I'm really not too worried about it. I really like our defense and what we've seen over the past couple of weeks. I'm really excited about this defense. I'm not too worried about New Mexico's offense and their quarterback getting out of hand. I'm with you, though. Offensive line. We have to be able to continually move the ball on the ground and give Mikey time. The most effective play has been the deep ball to Mac. And so to do that, Mikey's got to take 3 to 5 step drop, step up, and chuck it. He needs time. Now, I think we are effective with Jalen Moss and Raylan Sharp. These guys get open, and they're quick enough to get open underneath. But it's fun to watch the big play, and we scored a lot of points doing that. Not only to Mac, but Jalen Moss had, this is what we've done the past couple of weeks, and it's been exciting. So we got to give him time, especially with a banged up O-line. Going to be a little nervous. All right. When it comes to dancing, Caleb, what helps you dance? Wine. Wine helps you dance. Head over to Giveli Winery, another sponsor for the podcast, Ziveli, local winery in Fresno County, out in the small town of Biola. Head down Shaw, just north of Shaw on Biola. They're open on Saturday and Sundays, noon to 5. And I will say, Caleb, I am hosting a trivia night there, I believe next month. Maybe I'll keep you updated on the theme, because I will be hosting. So come on out, see me, and they have a brick oven pizza as well. So check out Givli Winery this Saturday. What's going to make us dance?
Everybody dance now.
What do you got, Caleb?
Well, last week we got a shutout, which I am gladly dancing. Location to be determined. I thought, okay, I could just record something in my house and me dancing, but I will be in Allegiant Stadium next week when the Dogs take on UNLV. So I'm thinking maybe I need to do something special there. So I think I'm trying to decide. I mean, do I go with the shutout route? I think it's very unlikely that a Fresno State team shuts out two teams in the same season. The last 3 years we've had one shutout each season, right? But I think this certainly could be a candidate with, a team that is struggling 0-3, but at home, I don't know if they can muster up enough offense to do it. So I think I'm going to double down on the shutout pitch. And if the Fresno State defense shuts out New Mexico, then I will be dancing, and I'll have to do something really special the following week at the Allegiant Stadium.
I like it. In the news lately has been Cam Lockridge. They talking about he's leading the country, I believe, in career interceptions right now in active players. And they said, what? I can't remember the exact thing they asked him, but his answer was great. It was, I'm just thinking about 13. Like, where's 13? I believe was his answer. Where's 13? Cam's going to get 2, and he'll be at 14 after this weekend. And Mikey will not throw an interception, and I will be dancing. So right. Cam Lockridge, 2 picks. It's going to happen. So where's 13? How about where's 14 after this weekend? Or where's 15 after this weekend?
Right. Love it.
All right, Caleb. This weekend is in Albuquerque. I mean, we've had rain here. What's it like there, and what can we expect?
Yes, so this Saturday at 5:30 p.m. local kickoff. It's on True TV, HBO Max, and also on the Bulldog Sports Network on the radio with Paul, Pat, and Cam. So, Albuquerque above sea level, they're like a mile high above sea level. So we got a chance of some crazy wind here this week, like up to 20 mile per hour gusts of wind. Should be pleasant. I think in the high 50s, low 60s at game time, but windy, and that is a possible problem. So if things are coming down to late kicks, how's Dylan Lynch able to handle that and adjust for it? You got to kind of give the edge to the home team with kicking. They probably get to practice that a little bit more. So it could be some weirdness and with the wind here. So just another factor.
Fresno State 13-point favorites. That is the current spread right now. It opened at Fresno as 16-point favorites. You touching this one, Caleb? At 13?
It's tempting. I think probably the more disrespectful thing is that they're expecting the Fresno State defense to give up a lot of points, and coming off a shutout performance, to have a point total of, I think it's around 60, and then spread of only 13. I mean, they're expecting this to be a high scoring 2-possession game. So if anything, I would probably, I don't even know, man. But I do think that Fresno State defense is going to come to play. And I think that they are going to hold the Lobos to 2 touchdowns. So if we're going too early for a final score prediction, I don't know. But I think Fresno State scored over 40 in the last 2 weeks. And I think that that's going to continue against this really poor Lobo defense. So I'm thinking like Fresno State 45 to Lobos 14. So yeah, with that number, Dogs should cover easily.
I'm going 48-10 Bulldogs.
Okay. Love it.
That doesn't put us that puts us at the under for mine.
Right.
60.5 is the over under right now. A lot of points. So both of us Dogs winning. I think the Dogs win comfortably. I don't think there's any reason they shouldn't. They give me no reason to think that they shouldn't. Give us your thoughts down below in the comment section, by the way. Give us your final score and why you got there, how you got there. Sorry, Caleb, go ahead.
I was just going to make one more comment on the defense just as we're talking here. I think that with how athletic Fresno State linebackers are, specifically to Nomura and Phoenix Jackson, who's like really coming on strong as a really strong defender, those two guys are going to be able to contain the mobile quarterback in Dampier. So I feel pretty good about that. And just the defense in general, I mean, really playing strong. I think Coach Coyle has really implemented the plan well. And that's one of the benefits of having defensive coordinator, third year here. So a lot of the guys that are in their second or third year, they're super familiar with the system and the expectations and blitzes and everything. So, they're able to run some creative, play calling on defense. So I do feel pretty good about that. I wanted to mention that earlier, but I didn't. But I think Phoenix Jackson and Tuasivi, big keys for this defense slowing down Dampier.
Mm-hmm. Last thing for me on this game, then we'll get into the Mountain West scoreboard and what that looks like for this weekend. Special teams, Gib. Jalen Moss has been back there taking punts, punt return, and he's very explosive. And he's taken one back already. He's had multiple looks where I thought he was going to take it all the way. With the wind affecting, if I don't know which way the wind blows in that stadium, I've never been. But if the wind is in their face and we get a short kick or it pushes the ball down real quick and they can't cover, I think there's a possibility that Jalen Moss can take one back. And then, of course, I'd love to see it on the kickoff. But I think there's one for a punt return. I think we're going to have a punt return. Should add that to Everybody Dance Now segment, but I won't. I just want to throw that out there. All right.
I love your optimism there because my brain automatically goes to, he's already muffed one this year. The wind gusts at the last second. We might, be muffing one, and then the Lobos get one with really short field position. So hopefully it is happening how you are predicting.
This is why we are the co-hosts. Opposites attract. We got to keep each other accountable. This is good. Friday, San Jose State, a 3-0 San Jose State goes to Pullman, play 3-0 Washington State. Washington State's a 12-point favorite. Do you think San Jose State stands any chance in this game?
I don't know. Washington State has looked really good, and that'll be a fun matchup in a couple weeks when they're coming to the former Bulldog Stadium to take on the Bulldogs. So, and San Jose has played some, I'd say maybe a weaker schedule here for the first 3 weeks. So this will be a good test and kind of show us what they're actually made of. So yeah, I'm excited to catch on some of this one, but I would probably give the edge to Washington State. I mean, they looked pretty good against Washington last week. So I think probably give me the Cougars.
Cougars minus 12. Yeah, actually, I'm going to take San Jose State to cover. Washington State I think will win this game. But Mateer, their quarterback at Washington State, very good, dual threat guy. But Brown, quarterback for San Jose State, 9-2 touchdown to interception ratio. Nick Nash, he's a beast. He has 6 tutties. He's very good. So they have their hands full with the Spartans. But I do think Washington State is a better team. Saturday, Utah State plays an 0-3 Temple team. I think this is a good game for Utah State to kind of find out what they're really made of before conference play. They should win this game. It is in Philadelphia, though. I like the spread. Utah State 6.5. I'm going to take the Aggies in this one.
I honestly have no idea. I haven't watched any Utah State this year, and I don't know if I really will. So I think I probably would take, the home dog is, what is this? Yeah, Utah State favorite on the road. A home dog is usually a good flyer to take. So I think I'll probably give the Temple Owls a chance on this one.
Eastern Washington travels to Reno to take on the Wolfpack. Wolfpack favored by 9. And last time I saw Eastern Washington play, it gave me a scare. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen here? Give me Eastern Washington to cover the 9.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance of that. A noon game in Reno. Probably not a weird, windy late game. It could be windy. I don't know. I don't have that weather pulled up. But yeah, Nevada's been interesting. They started pretty hot at the beginning of the year, and then they've lost a lot of tough games. They're already 1-3, so they haven't had their bye week after week 0. So I think Nevada probably takes care of business at home, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Eastern covers.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I wouldn't be surprised if Nevada runs away with it either. Colorado State gets UTEP in Fort Collins after they lost to Colorado. That was in Fort Collins, wasn't it? It was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a bounce back game for Colorado State. They'll take care of UTEP, no problem. Colorado State, they're favored 8.5. I'd take Colorado State by double digits in this one.
Yeah, I think that the Colorado State should win this game, but my question is Colorado State overrated? Because preseason they were definitely hyped in terms of the conference and comeback team, but certainly has not looked that way right now. And obviously Colorado might have a little bit more talent, but seeing the way that they were handled pretty easily, I don't know about the Rams.
Excuse me. Yeah, I may have been one of those hyping them up. I don't believe in them anymore. I don't believe in them. Wyoming travels to Texas to play North Texas in Denton. Wyoming is a 7-point underdog. I don't see them winning this game. Wyoming has looked so bad. I don't think they'll cover either. I'm taking North Texas.
I agree. Wyoming stinks. It's a rebuild, and North Texas at home, they should have no problem with them.
Boise State finally gets I'd say an easier opponent, maybe. Portland, they play Portland State in Boise. Boise by 41.5. I'll take Portland State to cover, but Caleb, but Boise should win this easily.
Yeah, definitely not one I would bet if I was a betting man. So Boise should probably run it up, get Genty a lot more touchdowns to try to pump up his Heisman odds, because he definitely need to get the yards and the touchdowns early. Once they get the conference play, I think the defenses are going to be pretty clued into Genty being a weapon.
Yeah, I haven't been impressed by Madsen. He hasn't had to do much. Hand the ball to Genty, that's about it. But I'm curious to see what they do with Malachi Nelson in this game, because I assume he'll get playing time. But I'd like to see his playing time and his film compared to Madsen's. Then Hawaii gets Northern Iowa in Hawaii. Hawaii's favored by 7.5. I've also been I thought Hawaii would do a little bit better this year after their first 3 games. I'm expecting more from them this game. I'm going to take Hawaii to cover the 7.5.
Yeah, same here. I think Schrager, I do think, is a good quarterback. And yeah, that's a long trip for Northern Iowa. They're probably just happy to, no offense, Iowa, but get out of Iowa and see Hawaii. So, kind of doubt the focus level for all those guys there. So give me Hawaii.
All right, man. Well, that does it for the Mountain West scoreboard. There's a quick preview. The Dogs should win this game. The last time I said that against New Mexico, we lost. So I should be careful. But I think the boys remember what happened, and I don't think that will happen this week. I'm excited for this game.
I am too.
Any last game?
Yeah, this is, I think, another opportunity for Coach Skipper to, emphasize to the team that they just need to keep their head down, take care of business, and don't worry about all the extra stuff. It's kind of a long trip to Albuquerque, and just take care of business and get out. Scoreboard doesn't really matter as long as we have more points than the other team. So just get out with a win. And after 2 weeks off, we are planning on being back Sunday Night Live. So sorry to everyone who's been waiting, refreshing their YouTube page, saying where are these guys? So we, barring some other crazy setback, we should be back live Sunday at 7. So we hope you join us.
Yes, one thing I learned on the East Coast, Caleb, is that it is wonderful to be a sports fan on the West Coast. I woke up Saturday morning. Took my wife to New Orleans. Woke up Saturday morning. I had to wait till 11 o'clock for college football to begin. Here, I wake up, I do a devotional, have my coffee, could get some yard work done early in the morning. But 9 a.m., I'm eating breakfast, watching football.
Mm-hmm.
Over there, I got to waste half the day away. Oh, what am I going to do over there? I don't know. It's crazy. So we're spoiled here, man. I love it. I can't believe we don't have more enthusiastic sports fans like us on the West Coast. There's just too much to do. You spend all day at the beach. Yes. If you can, please pray for the Nail family. We have a memorial service this weekend, this Saturday. So we're going through that stuff right now. So thanks for bearing with us through all of that. But that is this. It's planning all of that. All the festivities are planning to be done Saturday. So we should be good to go Sunday for the recap. And I'm excited to be back to it. So, Mr. Plutz, thank you. And thank you for putting up with me. So,
Absolutely.
Hey, everybody. For God so loved the world, he gave his only son, Jesus Christ, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. And as always, we got to end it with Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.